the one thing that we get from everybody, you know, we've all had this question when we were new is, you know, should I call my leads to set appointments? When do I door knock my leads? When you're new, you should be door knocking your leads, period, no matter what, when you're brand new. When I switched from mortgage protection to final expense, I was told in Florida, and this is what I was told, in Florida, forget about calling the leads. It doesn't work. Just call to set appointments. Just door knock your leads. So don't call and set appointments. You're just going to blow them. Just door knock them. That's what I did. And my wife and I both did that for the first, got to be, I want to say at least 4 or 5 months. And even in the beginning, before we were committed, we did it off and on for a few months. And then even when we committed into it, we still door knocked for a few months. I always recommend that other people follow my lead because I know that worked great for me. Because when I did realize that, you know, at some point you get enough leads coming in, you should absolutely be calling to set appointments. And when that light did come on, I was already a master at door knocking. To me, first, when you're new, door knock all your leads for at least the first 2 to 3 months, no matter what kind of leads you're working. Second, maybe when you're working less than 30 leads every week. So a lot of us start off with 20 leads a week. And to me, that's just not enough leads to do full time. I mean, to me, that's it'll keep you busy part-time. Really, if you're working them really heavily and you're squeezing the life out of them, then to me, that makes sense. But yeah, if you're working less than 30 leads, I don't suggest calling to set appointments. It's just not enough leads, really. And maybe door knocking leads while you're waiting on your direct mail leads to come in. You know, maybe you're working telemarket leads or Facebook leads, which is probably the best way to go. It's what I recommend. You know, when you put in that direct mail lead order, if you're going to be going that route, just start getting Facebook leads right from the start. To me, that makes absolute sense. And the thing about Facebook leads is that they're really hard to get on the phone compared to direct mail. And, you know, every year it gets a little tougher. It does. Our business, especially since the thing that just happened, I don't even like to say the word, that we're still kind of going through, but things changed. You know, things changed in our industry. So it got a little tougher. You know, the telemarketers beat the crap out of everybody on the phone. Even the people that were answering the phone maybe a year ago are more likely to be like, no, that's probably a telemarketer. So it's hard to get people on the phone. Now, let's talk a little bit about appointment setting. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw you guys some really good tips. You know, what I do, what I believe, what I recommend for each agent when they're new for when to set appointments. And I'm going to go over some tips on door knocking the leads. But starting with appointment setting, really the number one rule is to have energy, excitement, and enthusiasm. Don't be afraid to go through all the leads like 8 to 10 times each day on your phone day. So of course you're going to have your phone days. You're going to have your field days. I know it sounds like a lot to some people, but I'm telling you, if you only dial through all your leads 2 or 3 times, to me, it's not your phone day. You're just calling a few leads. If you make your phone day a true phone day, you're going to get a lot of appointments. It's going to make things a lot easier for you, you know, while you're running your leads on your field days. Follow the script. At least to me, you got to follow the script until you're a master at appointment setting. And I say that because sure, once you get really good at it, the talent is there and you're getting a lot of appointments with the people that you do speak with, then you're going to start to go off script. But I find when you're new, it's like this natural thing to like start going off script, and you're not good at it because you're new. And so it usually just does the worst. You go backwards, you know, instead of helping you, it ends up hurting you. So, you know, stick with the script. Don't pre-qualify. And this is a temptation. Every new agent, we all think maybe I should do this, you know, don't do any pre-qualifications. No medical questions. Don't mention the word life insurance when you're calling to set appointments. Follow your script, and you're going to do better than when you try to do things off script. A lot of agents think, well, well, wait a minute, I want to pre-qualify a little bit. Let me make sure that, that they're interested, one, or two, that maybe they're not too sick, to take the insurance. You can't think of it that way. It's just going to make it harder for you to get in front of more people. And the goal is to get in front of as many people as possible, to make as many presentations as possible. And you're not going to do that by pre-qualifying or asking, medical questions or mentioning life insurance over the phone. To me, that's like a big no-no. Don't do it. When I call to set appointments, I want to call today for tomorrow. If I have to go 2 days out, I will. And I know some people will make like Saturday and Sunday or Saturday or Sunday their phone day. There's nothing wrong with having a phone day, but to me, you're better off splitting it up and having a couple of phone days. The last thing I want to do is get on the phone on Monday morning for Friday or Saturday. It's just, they're not going to remember, even if you tell them to put it on their calendar. It's my experience is most of these folks, no matter how strong you are on the phone, no matter how firm you are, they're just not going to treat it like that doctor's appointment, even though, we are the professional, we want them to do that. So to me, if I'm calling on Monday, I'm going out in the field on Tuesday or Wednesday, period. I try not to, unless they say, well, I'm available on Thursday, then I'll do it. And then I'll set the appointment. I'll be very firm. I'll get them to write it down. I'll ask them to put it on their calendar. I ask them, how do you remember your doctor's appointments? Okay, that's how we got to do it, the same way. And I will not give them a reminder call. To me, calling to give them a reminder call is a bad idea, because they could say, oh, I changed my mind, or, oh, something came up, and just get rid of you. They will often do that. Once you got the appointment, you got to go to the appointment. Something that a lot of agents don't do, something I highly recommend, is to try to increase your leads as you're getting better at the business. So the big fail is that agents will start with maybe 20 leads or 30 leads, and which is what I recommend. I recommend starting with at least 30 leads if humanly possible, if you can afford to. But a lot of agents will start with that or less, and then they'll just keep that. They'll get some momentum going, and then they'll keep that momentum. Don't be afraid to push yourself. All the agents that are on this call that are top producers learned, they weren't afraid to do more leads each week, to max out their business. And by doing that, you're going to find that the better you get at that, then the more likely you'll be at maybe hiring an assistant or an appointment setter. And then it makes sense, when you're working 40 or 50 leads, you get the assistant to work with you, or the appointment setter. And now the two of you are tag teaming your clients. You're working as a team, the appointment setter's calling to set appointments, and you're out hitting the field and just door knocking leads in between the appointments. And that's when you can really increase it. My wife and I, at one point, we were doing, I want to say, around 70 plus leads a week. And we've had, years ago when we were cranking full time, we had leads where I would just tell them, hey, if you got more than 70 leads that come in, go ahead and just give me everything you've got. So we had weeks where we had over 100 leads and weren't afraid to work them. And the one thing I don't worry about is the shelf life of the leads, because the direct mail leads, not direct mail, I should say, the shelf life of the direct mail lead, because they got a good long shelf life. My first couple of sales came from leads that were like 2+ years old, to give you an idea. So don't be afraid. The Facebook leads are the ones you got to get at. If it comes in today, you need to be out in the field today or tomorrow. To me, the Facebook leads, the shelf life on them aren't as good. And that's why you really, with Facebook leads, forget about calling anyways. To me, your Facebook leads, it's gonna be so hard to get on the phone that you might as well just door knock them anyways. I recommend, and I know this isn't the same for every agent, we're all a little bit different, but to me, I recommend doing whatever you can to get on the fixed cost direct mail leads. At least with our leads, they're exclusive, right? So they're never resold. You never have to worry about that. The idea of having a fixed cost direct mail leads, what that does for me, the main thing I would say that I like about it is that I can target more people in a given area. Like when we were going full time, we had like 6 counties, 6 areas that we worked. And so they would mail one first, and then the next, and then the next, until the circle was completed, and they would start mailing them again. And by doing this, it keeps me in that area is while we have leads there, then we move to the next area where the leads are coming in. As to where with Facebook, you're going to notice things are more spread out. There's nothing you can do about it. And you need to, a big tip on Facebook leads, if you're going to run just Facebook leads, you need to expect to travel. You're going to have to. Otherwise, unfortunately, because of the data with Facebook is so much less than with the direct mail leads, the amount of leads we get from Facebook are so much less than what we get with direct mail leads, that you're going to have to switch areas. Otherwise, you're going to get the same people, a lot of the same people over and over and over. Now, I know that happens with direct mail, just not as bad. Facebook, it starts happening quick. As to where with direct mail, as time goes on, you're going to notice the same people, some of the same people will start mailing them in. But to me, that's why I firmly believe one of the main reasons that getting on direct mail leads as soon as possible is absolutely the way to go. Let's talk a little bit about door knocking. I just want to address, because I think the guys, most of the guys on this call, ladies and gentlemen on this call that are successful, probably do a lot of door knocking. As I said before, to me, if you're new, you should just be door knocking for the first couple of months or so, at least until you've got a lot of leads coming in. Dress business casual. Now, of course, comfortable, but groomed is really the important thing, because I know some people wear jeans. That's great. Matt used to love to wear shorts. So, and there's probably some of you guys are like, yeah, I like to wear shorts when I'm out in the summer, and then I'll wear my jacket in the wintertime, whatever makes you comfortable. But to me, first appearance is very important. I always look at it this way. If I'm in the house making a presentation to Mrs. Jones and her grandson walks in, I don't want to be the shady looking salesman. That's not what I want him to see. As a matter of fact, I want it to be the opposite. I'm going to ask her, hey, do you want him to join us? And I'm going to try to be as open as possible. I want him to walk in and see this professional person talking to his grandmother, not the shady guy with the hair crazy and the shirt that doesn't fit right. Keep that in mind. First impressions with our market are still pretty important for a lot of people. I like to wear an ID card. I made one with my corporation logo on it, and I think it just helps to look professional with your picture on it, your insurance license number on it, and in the back, what my wife will do is she'll put like her driver's license back there. That way she has both right there, or a copy. A lot of agents will have like a copy of their insurance license if they can. Now, when it comes to doing the activity itself, my suggestion is to only have leads with you and maybe a pen, and what I'll have is my medical questions page. So I've got all I need to just get into the house, and literally I'm walking in with a stack of leads clipped together like this, with the pen on it, and in the back, my medical questions page. That way I can make the first part of the presentation. I'm not walking in with a briefcase. I know some of you guys like to use like an iPad. I think that's actually doable. It's just one little, the iPad, something like that is pretty simple. I'm old school. I still like to walk up with the leads in hand, the paper form of what they filled out. That way I can actually show them their own handwriting. So that's what I recommend. And that way, by the time I get halfway through the presentation, I do the field underwriting. I've built up a lot of rapport, and I'm comfortable saying, okay, Mrs. Jones, give me a minute. I'm going to go grab my book and see if we can't do something really good for you. And then I come back and I do the pricing out for the carrier. I like to use the old dot, 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 dot. It's that familiar door knock, and it will actually get a knee-jerk reaction out of people to come to the door. Oh, it's my cousin Joe. It's Sam down the street. That familiar door knock. It's not going to hurt anything. Is it really that necessary? Probably not, but that's what I like to do. Another thing that I noted, a lot of us, when you're new, you need to be aware of what's going on around you. So if I'm walking up at a gate, even if I have a set appointment, I walk up to a gate, whether there's a dog, a guard dog sign or not, beware of the dog, what have you, I'm shaking the fence. Shake the gate. When you go into door knock your leads, pay attention to where there's a leash. A lot of times these people will have the leash by the front door and the dog will be sitting on the side. I've seen an alligator the side of the house towards the back of the house before. I've seen snakes. I went to door knock a door once with a lead in hand. As I got to the front door, there's a snake sitting right in the middle of the door waiting for me. And we both scared each other. He went that way, I went that way, and everything was good. But be aware of your surroundings. The sixth thing, while you're door knocking your lead, don't mention life insurance. At least not until, to me, I don't mention the word life insurance when I'm setting an appointment. I don't mention the word life insurance when I'm door knocking my leads. I mention the word life insurance when I'm sitting down making my presentation and I'm doing the three, what do you call it? The three questions presentation. I'm finding the need. I'm getting them to admit to the need. That's when I bring up the word life insurance. Never until then. I just feel like life insurance, the word itself, it kind of gives people an excuse almost to not let you approach them. It's not something people actively go out and buy in our market. It's how it is. People don't wake up and think, man, I got to get me some of that life insurance. It doesn't work that way. So it works the opposite for us. And that's why it's funny, when we were first door knocking, we first got in the business, I tried different leads. And the lead that I liked the most as far as direct mail lead for door knocking was the one that did not mention the word insurance or life insurance. Because I had a couple of times what'll happen we all have our learning curve. What I would do is I'd show them the card and they'd go to grab it and I'd let them, which I don't do anymore. And they go to grab it and then go, oh, life insurance. No, I already got that taken care of. So now they've got the excuse not to see you. And to me, that's just one more objection to overcome. Sure. But I try to avoid it. So my opinion, if you're just door knocking, there is nothing wrong with having a super, super generic lead card. It gets you in front of the exact same people. So the trick is to find the need, just like you would in any presentation, and to close the sale, just like you want to do in any presentation. Be prepared to overcome objections. So to me, I have two ways that I overcome objections. And it's funny, I kind of do the same thing when I'm calling to set appointments as I do door knocking the leads. And so, because everybody has this high security wall, right? It's maybe not against, but to keep salespeople out, right? A lot of, like in the city, when I lived in Miami, getting in the house was really hard. Everybody talked about, don't let anybody you don't know come through your front door. Don't give anybody your checking information. Don't give anybody your social. And, they talked about that a lot in the community. And Miami was one of the areas, it was just, I failed horribly when trying to sell there. We didn't get good until we started traveling outside of the big cities. Then people were a lot nicer. But my point is, be prepared to deal with the objections. One of the ways that I'll do it is whatever the objection is, can you come back tomorrow? I've got something going on. Whatever it is that they're going to say, I look at it like this is their way to get rid of me, because I don't know that it's true. I know that buyers are liars. I know that. So, and they don't respect me. They just met me. Why would they respect me? So I want them to earn that respect. I don't mind an objection or two. I'm prepared. And as long as you are, you'll be fine. What I like to do when they give me an objection is I say, listen, Mrs. Jones, I get it. I can tell you're not enthusiastic about having me in, but let me assure you, the last thing that I would want is for some pushy salesman to go over to my mom's house or my dad's house and try to convince them to buy something that they may or may not be interested in. I don't believe in that. I am simply here to bring you the information that you requested. I'm going to go over this with you. I'm going to show you some options, and you're either going to be really happy that I did show up or not, and we'll shake hands and I'll be on my way. Where can we sit down real quick? So that's like my first how I overcome the objection. Now, the second tier, the second thing, because sometimes they'll keep talking, whatever it is, they'll keep giving you an objection. And so what I do is I let them know, look, I don't live here. I drove all the way from Vero Beach, and the last thing I want is to go back to my boss and have him start sending other people here. Why don't we do this? Normally this takes about 20, 30 minutes. Let me give you the really short version. It'll only take a few minutes. That way, at least I can tell them that I've been here and I've done my job. Where can we sit down real quick? So I have two things set up when I'm door knocking leads, two ways to overcome. And really there's a third. It's funny. A lot of people, you just talk with them. You just keep speaking with them. And what'll happen is you can, if you've got some talent, they'll start to lower that wall naturally by feeling comfortable that you're just a normal person. And the next thing you know, you're inside the house making a presentation and they're really happy you're there. And of course you walk out with a check and it's a big sale because they really needed the insurance. Just their knee-jerk reaction is to get rid of the salesperson, get rid of the salesperson. So keep that in mind. Another tip, and to me, this is kind of important. When you're new, especially, don't be afraid to approach people that you see hanging around the house that you're door knocking. In other words, if I'm going to door knock apartment 321 and the people are hanging outside in apartment number 318, I'm going to say hi to them on the way in. I'm going to door knock the lead, whether I get in or not, whether I'm coming out, I'm going to approach them on the way out and say, hey guys, I just helped your neighbor with the special benefit plans for Florida seniors. Are you guys receiving Social Security benefits? You are? Wow, I might be able to do something really good for you guys. Where can we sit down real quick? Approach people. Don't be afraid. It's going to feel like foreign. It's going to feel like out of body, really uncomfortable, maybe the first time you do it, but don't be surprised. The very first time that I did it, I sold the guy. So don't be surprised how easy it gets. And honestly, it's the first time is the only time that it feels weird. But what'll happen is you'll sit down, you'll make a presentation, and you'll just think to yourself, wow, I didn't pay for a lead to make that presentation. These are easy to make. Referrals. Always get referrals, whether you sell or not, especially if you don't sell. I won't get into that, but the simple fact is you've got nothing to lose. At this point, you haven't sold them. So break out the agent evaluation form, let them answer the questions that make you look like a superstar, and then ask them, can you write down some referrals there too, please? Thank you. You'd be surprised. Some people actually say, well, I've got it, but my brother doesn't have it. And the next thing you know, you're at the brother's house making your presentation. My last tip, this is your pro tip. No matter what, always approach every aspect of our business with energy, excitement, and lots of enthusiasm. You can never be too excited while you're on the phone, door knocking your leads, or making your presentation, but you can underdo it and be super monotone. And you guys have heard me share the story about, when I was new, and my boss used to tell me, you don't have any energy, Dougie. You get some energy. I know that's why you're not selling. And then, of course, when I went nuts with the energy, I started writing one after another. I went from being one of their worst agents to being one of their best agents, like within a week, like overnight almost. All right, guys, that's all I've got. Thank you.